Ever feel like, I don't know, you're kind of stuck, like it's your mindset that's holding you back from, really living the life you want?
Yeah.
Well, get ready to really dive deep into Attitude is Everything by Jeff Keller.
Okay.
We're going to unpack his core principles, some pretty interesting anecdotes, and practical tips for really shifting that perspective. Hopefully unlock some, serious life changes.
I like it.
And right away, just from the dedication, you get a sense of the journey we're about to go on.
Oh,
Keller dedicates the book to his wife, Dolores. He thanks her for being his rock, for believing in him, even when, he doubted himself.
yeah.
It's a good reminder that behind every success story, there's usually a whole support system cheering them on.
Right.
So Keller, he didn't start out as some motivational guru. He was a lawyer, actually.
Interesting.
And he dreaded going to work every single day.
Oh, no.
Talking headaches, stomach problems, the whole 9 yards. He describes feeling, I think the word is burnt out.
Yeah.
Totally weighed down by the legal grind.
It's amazing how, relatable Keller's experience is,
Yeah.
So many people, they struggle with that career burnout, feeling stuck, unfulfilled.
Right.
The key is, recognizing those signs early on, those physical and emotional things Keller was talking about.
Yeah.
Ignoring that stuff can really, it can really mess you up.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Keller, he's desperate for a change.
Mm-hmm.
And get this, he's watching late night TV. Stumbles upon an infomercial
What?
for a program. It's called The Mental Bank.
The Mental Bank.
Endorsed by, wait for it, Florence Henderson.
No way.
Yes, the Florence Henderson from the Brady Bunch.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
That's amazing.
He even jokes in the book about being a little embarrassed telling his wife he bought it.
I can see why.
But here's the thing. That kind of random infomercial,
Yeah.
it introduced Keller to this concept that became the whole foundation of his philosophy.
Oh, wow.
This idea of, how incredibly powerful our subconscious beliefs are in, shaping our reality.
Interesting.
Which leads us to probably one of the most powerful ideas in the book.
What's that?
We become what we think about.
I've heard that before.
Right. It's it's everywhere. Thought leaders, Napoleon Hill, even biblical teachings, right?
It's kind of wild how consistent this message is. Across different fields, different time periods.
It's true.
So Keller, he explains this whole principle by introducing us to Fred.
Fred.
Yeah. So Fred, he is convinced he can only make $30,000 a year.
Okay.
Because of that belief, right? Fred's, unconsciously limiting his own potential. He's only seeing opportunities that, fit in with his limited thinking.
Right, right.
But imagine if Fred changed things up.
How so?
If he starts believing he can earn, say, $50,000.
Okay.
This new belief, it would lead him to do different things, right?
Yeah.
New opportunities that he never would have even considered before.
Exactly.
So how do we actually change our thinking?
Good question. Keller suggests some pretty simple but powerful practices.
Like what?
Like becoming aware of that negative self-talk, the one that's always running in the background.
Oh, yeah.
And then consciously replacing it with positive affirmations.
Right.
That's huge. He's also big on, feeding your mind good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Positive, uplifting content. Could be books, could even be, motivational podcasts.
Right.
Imagine you're stuck in traffic, but you're learning how to improve your life.
I love it.
But while these techniques are great, we got to remember positive thinking isn't some magic spell.
Right.
It's not instant success.
Yeah.
It's more like setting the stage, right? Creating fertile ground for positive change to take root. But you still got to water that seed. Consistent effort, action, that's how you see the real results.
Absolutely.
Speaking of, harnessing the power of our thoughts.
Yeah.
Keller dives into this fascinating technique, visualization.
Oh, interesting.
He talks about Jim Carrey.
Okay.
Back when he was still, a struggling actor.
Yeah.
Carrey wrote himself a check for $10 million.
Wow.
Dated it for a few years in the future and really visualized himself achieving that level of success.
Interesting.
And what's so powerful about that story, about visualization in general, it taps into this incredible power of our subconscious.
Right.
Our subconscious is always absorbing information, it's nonstop, right? And that's shaping our beliefs, our actions, everything.
That's powerful.
But by consciously choosing what images we feed it,
We can influence its direction,
Okay.
start attracting the outcomes we actually want.
I like that.
So how do we, tap into this power of visualization?
Yeah, how do we do that?
Keller says we got to take control of our, and I'm quoting here, mental movies.
Mental movies, okay.
Instead of replaying those negative scenarios,
Yeah.
dwelling on past failures,
Yeah.
we can choose to create something different.
Okay.
Vivid, emotionally charged visualizations of us achieving our goals.
I like it.
He even recommends using all of our senses
Oh, wow.
to make those visualizations more, powerful and realistic. Imagine the feeling of accomplishment, the sights, the sounds of success.
Powerful stuff.
But consistency is key,
Yeah.
right?
Patience, too. Just learning a new skill. It takes time. It takes practice to develop clear and vivid visualizations. But the more we do this mental rehearsal, the more our subconscious will start to, align with those desired outcomes.
I see.
And, it's not just about daydreaming.
Right.
Keller really stresses the importance of action,
Okay.
of pushing past those comfort zones, even when, fear creeps in.
Makes sense.
He introduces this concept of the comfort zone, that circle of familiar behaviors, where we feel safe, secure,
Right.
but real growth.
Yeah.
The kind that leads to incredible breakthroughs. That happens when we step outside that circle
Ah, okay.
into what Keller calls the X zone.
The exome.
And he's quick to point out that the benefit of avoiding those fears, it's just a fleeting moment of relief from anxiety,
Yeah.
The price we pay for staying stuck in that comfort zone, much greater in the long run.
How so?
Well, we end up, less confident, less capable,
Yeah.
and ultimately less fulfilled.
Right.
Our it just shrinks.
Right.
And we start to believe that this smaller, less exciting life is, all we deserve.
Wow.
And to illustrate this, he shares this kind of hilarious example from his own life.
Exact.
He admits that in high school, to avoid that fear of rejection, he just never asked anyone out on a date.
Oh, no.
It's a perfect example of how avoiding fear can actually lead us directly to the outcome we're trying to avoid.
Exactly.
By not taking action, by not putting ourselves out there, we're robbing ourselves of the opportunity to connect, to grow, to experience everything life has to offer.
That's a good point.
So how do we break free? How do we get out of this fear-driven cycle?
Yeah. How do we do that?
Keller says we got to shift our perspective.
Okay.
It's not about magically erasing fear, right?
yeah.
It's not about never feeling anxious. It's about recognizing that fear, it's natural. It's a natural part of growth.
Okay.
It's a signal that we're on the verge of something, extraordinary. And it's not about, this perfect outcome every time we step outside our comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's about the doing, embracing the challenge, regardless of the immediate result.
Yeah.
Every step we take, every time we face those fears, we're strengthening our courage, our resilience.
Right.
He tells this amazing story about Dottie Berman.
Who's that?
So Dottie taught high school English for 32 years.
Wow.
And then she decides to go after her childhood dream.
Oh, wow.
A career in show business.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Talk about bravery. Despite all the fear, the uncertainty, she just goes for it. Acting classes, off-Broadway plays, even lands roles as an extra in movies.
Get out.
And Dottie's story is so inspiring because, it reminds us that it's never too late to chase those dreams. A lot of these limitations we feel, they're self-imposed,
Right.
When we confront our fears, when we embrace the unknown, well, we're opening ourselves up to these incredible new possibilities.
I love that.
It's feel the fear and do it anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Keller, he really emphasizes that. The more we push ourselves, the stronger we become. It's like building a muscle, right? The more we exercise our courage, the more, the more capable we become of tackling those bigger challenges.
Absolutely.
The ones that, seemed impossible before.
Right, exactly.
Now, I think we all know, even with the best attitude, a ton of courage.
Yeah.
We're going to hit some bumps in the road.
It's inevitable.
So how does Keller suggest we, deal with those inevitable setbacks?
He's not afraid of it. He tackles it head on.
Okay.
He argues that failure, it's not the opposite of success. It's like a stepping stone.
Oh, interesting.
A crucial one on the path to actually achieving it.
Okay.
And he's got some incredible stories.
Oh, I bet.
To back this up.
Okay, like what?
Oh, he talks about Sally Jesse Raphael.
The talk show host. Okay.
So before the fame, decades of intense struggle.
Oh, wow.
Mountains of credit card debt. Getting fired left and right.
Oh, no.
Even lived out of her car for a while.
Wow.
It's a good reminder, right?
Yeah.
Even the most successful people, they rarely just, achieve their dreams without hitting some serious roadblocks.
Right.
What sets them apart?
What's that?
It's their ability to view those setbacks not as defeats,
Right.
but as opportunities for learning, for growth.
Yeah, it's like, when you're a kid learning to ride a bike.
Yeah.
You fall off a million times, right? Scrape knees, all that. But you get back on.
You keep going.
You adjust, and then eventually you're like cruising.
Exactly.
Wind in your hair.
And somewhere along the line, we start fearing that failure more than, we crave the success.
Right. Yeah.
We worry about what other people think.
Right.
We become less willing to risk making those, mistakes.
Right. Which are essential.
Which are so essential to learning and growing.
Exactly.
Keller points out, successful people, they've got this incredible ability.
Okay.
They fail their way to the top.
Interesting.
They see setbacks not as personal attacks, but valuable feedback.
Oh, I like that.
Think about, professional athletes.
Okay.
A baseball player, right?
Yep.
Makes millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Probably strikes out 70% of the time.
Right, right.
But those failures, they don't define him.
No.
He steps up, analyzes his swing, keeps striving for that home run.
Right. Keeps going.
And it's not just athletes.
Right.
Remember Jerry Seinfeld?
Yeah.
First stand-up routine, total bomb.
Oh, no.
Booed off the stage. Can you imagine if he had just given up?
Wow.
And then there's Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen.
Okay.
Chicken soup for the soul,
Yeah.
rejection after rejection.
Really?
33
Wow.
before they finally found a publisher.
Get out.
And then millions of copies sold worldwide.
That's incredible.
It's so easy to get caught up in those moments of discouragement, right?
Totally.
To let that self-doubt creep in, convince us we're not good enough.
It's so easy to do.
But those stories, they remind us, setbacks, they're just part of the journey.
They are.
It's all about our response. That's what really matters.
How we choose to, how we react to those setbacks. Exactly.
Instead of, letting them,
Keller's adamant, the only real failure, giving up.
That's a good point.
As long as we're willing to learn, adjust our approach, keep moving forward,
Yeah.
we're on the right track.
We're learning.
He gives a really helpful, I think, framework for analyzing those setbacks.
Okay, I like it.
He says, ask yourself some questions.
Like where?
Are my expectations realistic?
Okay.
Am I truly committed?
To this goal, yeah.
Am I, surrounding myself with the right people?
Yeah, that's huge.
People who uplift and support. Am I prepared to put in the work?
The real work.
To embrace those challenges,
Mm-hmm.
that come with growth? And am I willing to fail?
To fail my way to success.
Exactly. It's
Amazing.
about owning our journey, recognizing that those setbacks, they're going to happen. They are.
But they don't have to define us.
We don't have to let them.
Instead of getting stuck, in that cycle of self-blame, discouragement.
Right, which is so easy to do.
We can choose to see those bumps in the road as opportunities for learning, for course correction,
Right.
becoming even stronger, more resilient.
That resonates with me, I think, because it is so easy to get trapped,
Oh, yeah,
in that negative headspace, especially when things aren't going our way.
of course.
Keller reminds us, we have so much more power than we realize.
We do.
I really do.
It all starts with the mindset.
It does.
If we approach those challenges with a positive attitude,
Yeah.
that belief that we can learn and grow from any experience,
Yeah.
we're so much better equipped
To navigate it all.
to navigate those difficult moments and come out stronger on the other side.
So we've talked about the power of our thoughts, importance of visualization, the courage to, step outside those comfort zones,
Right.
reframing failure as that stepping stone to success.
Mm-hmm.
What other gems does Keller offer in terms of, cultivating this winning attitude?
He talks about our words.
Oh, interesting. Oh,
He
go
dives deep,
into our words.
arguing that they have this incredible ability to shape our reality.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's not just what we say out loud to others.
Right.
It's that constant internal dialogue, right?
Oh, yeah.
The way we talk to ourselves.
Things we tell ourselves, yeah.
That has such a profound impact on our beliefs, our actions, everything.
That self-talk can be brutal sometimes.
Oh, tell me about it. It's like having a negative committee.
Yes.
living in your head, just
Yeah.
like constantly reminding you of your shortcomings.
Yes.
All those past failures.
And it never stops.
He shares this funny story about his own like aversion to home repairs.
Okay.
And he realized it came from years of telling himself, I'm no good at mechanical things.
Oh, wow.
And those words, they became a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Because he was telling himself that all the time.
It's like we constantly reinforce those limiting beliefs with our own words.
Right?
We
Why
tell
can't-
ourselves we can't do something.
So we don't even try.
We convince ourselves we're not good enough. So we shy away from those opportunities.
Right. That could lead to,
That could lead to growth, fulfillment, everything.
It's true.
He challenges us to become aware of our language,
Okay.
especially in those key areas,
Like what?
relationships, finances, careers,
Mm-hmm.
even our health,
Oh, wow.
where
Yeah.
we tend to struggle.
Right. Yeah.
I thought his example about how we respond to "how are you" was really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
He breaks it down
Okay.
into 3 categories:
Okay.
negative, mediocre, and positive.
Okay.
Think about it. How often do we hear, "Oh, I'm just exhausted," or,
Right.
"I'm barely hanging on."
Or even worse, don't ask.
Right. Those negative responses, they just reinforce that feeling.
Of defeat. Yeah, totally.
Defeat, overwhelm.
It brings the energy down of everybody around them.
Exactly.
Like 100%.
And then you've got the mediocre responses.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Could be worse.
That's another day.
Right. Which, yeah. Okay.
They seem harmless, right?
Right.
But they reflect a lack of enthusiasm,
Right.
settling for good enough when we're capable of so much more.
We are.
We are. And then there are the positive responses.
Okay. Yeah.
The people who just radiate energy, optimism,
Yeah.
a simple fantastic, or I'm having an amazing day.
It's contagious too.
It is. Those responses, they reflect a mindset, right?
Yeah.
Of gratitude, abundance.
Yes.
And it has this ripple effect. It uplifts the people around them.
It really does. It's amazing how, like, a few simple words
I know.
have such a profound impact.
That's true.
On our energy, outlook, everything. It makes you wonder, like, what would happen if we all just, I don't know, made a conscious effort to shift our language
Right.
towards more positivity, gratitude?
What would happen?
Yeah.
It starts with that recognition
Oh,
that our words are powerful tools.
they are.
They can build us up or they can tear us down.
That's a good point.
When we choose to focus on the good, the things we're grateful for, even amidst the challenges,
Because there's always something to be grateful for.
always, we're essentially reprogramming our minds for success,
Wow.
attracting more positive experiences.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but in a good way.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, Keller isn't saying we need to become, these walking, talking positivity robots,
No.
pretending that everything is,
Blood, shine, and rainbows, yeah.
all the time.
It's not about that. It's about awareness of our language patterns and making that conscious effort to replace those self-defeating phrases.
Right. With words that,
That empower, that uplift.
lift us up.
He also talked about complaining.
Oh, interesting.
Stopping it, actually.
Okay.
He argues that chronic complaining, it's like this toxic habit
Oh, yeah.
that just keeps us stuck
In negativity.
in negativity, dissatisfaction.
It's so easy to get, like, sucked into complaining, though.
It is.
Especially when it feels like everyone around you is doing it.
Oh, it's contagious.
But you're right. It's draining.
It's so draining.
And it rarely solves the problem.
Rarely. He points out, like, complaining about stuff we can't control,
Like,
the weather, total waste of energy.
oh, right. Yeah.
And then there's the complaining about, like, the little things.
Oh, yeah.
Insignificant stuff.
Yeah.
Slow waiter, the long line at the grocery store.
Right. The person in front of you with, like, a million coupons.
Yes. Or, the coworker who always seems to get the bigger office.
Right. Yeah. Petty stuff.
Petty complaints.
But they build up, though.
They do. And they might seem harmless, but
Yeah.
they reveal a mindset,
Of.
scarcity, lack, and that can seep into other areas of our lives.
That's true. Because you're focusing on what you don't have, what's not going right.
Yes.
Instead of,
He shares this incredibly moving story
Okay.
about a man named Pedro.
Okay.
He met him after a hurricane in Honduras.
Oh, wow.
Devastating hurricane. Pedro lost everything.
Oh, no.
His home, his belongings.
Wow.
His family was still missing.
Oh, my God.
Yet amidst this unimaginable loss,
Yeah.
Pedro chose to focus on helping others.
Wow.
Maintained this incredibly positive attitude that honestly just inspired everyone around him.
Oh, wow. That just gave me chills.
It's a testament, isn't it?
To,
The
yeah.
power of the human spirit.
Yeah.
To choose hope, resilience,
Even in the face of, like, yeah,
unimaginable adversity.
really puts things in perspective.
Keller reminds us, we always have a choice
We do.
in how we respond to those challenging situations.
Right.
We can either get swept away by the negativity, the despair,
Let it consume us.
or we can choose to focus on what we can control,
Okay.
the things we're grateful for,
Right.
finding ways to support ourselves and,
Others. Yeah.
each other
So how do we, like, break free?
from the complaining trap.
Yeah, yeah.
He suggests asking ourselves two, I think, really powerful questions.
Okay, what are they?
Is this something worth complaining about?
Oh, I like that.
And what can I do to solve this problem? Or, improve this situation?
Instead of just dwelling on it. Okay.
Yes. These questions, they help us shift
From,
from a mindset of negativity
yeah.
to a mindset of action,
Oh, I like that.
problem solving.
Taking control.
Instead of dwelling on what's wrong, we can start focusing on solutions, creating positive change.
Being the change you want to see.
Exactly, becoming a source of support, inspiration.
Yeah, for ourselves and for others.
It's about recognizing our words. They have this ripple effect.
You do, yeah.
When we choose to focus on the positive, to offer encouragement, to be that source of strength and support,
Yeah.
we not only lift ourselves up,
We lift up everybody around us.
but we create a more positive, empowering experience for everyone.
It's true. They really do. It makes you think about, like, what am I putting out there?
You are. And speaking of the people we surround ourselves with,
Okay.
Keller, he gets into this whole thing about having a positive support system.
Right, your people.
He argues that the people we hang out with, they have a huge influence
They really do, yeah.
on, our attitudes,
Beliefs.
our beliefs, our success, everything.
It's true. It's like, what's that saying? You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah, yeah. If we're always around, negativity, self-doubt,
Right.
it's going to be way harder to stay positive to achieve our goals.
Way harder. It's like, yeah, you're constantly being pulled down.
Exactly. He tells this story about this guy, Mike. So in high school, Mike, he hung out with this group. They were content, just coasting.
Okay.
No real ambition, no drive.
Just going through the motions.
But then Mike goes off to college,
Okay.
and he makes a decision.
What's that?
He's going to surround himself with different people.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Students who are, goal-oriented,
Yes.
positive, driven.
Okay, so what happened?
Keller says Mike's life, it totally transformed.
Wow, just from that.
He starts setting these higher goals for himself. Grades improve.
Get out.
Becomes more involved.
Wow.
Just seems, happier, more confident.
It's the energy, right?
It really is. It's like choosing to spend time,
Yeah.
in a bright, inspiring environment.
Right, instead of, yeah.
Versus this, drab, uninspiring one.
Right, your surroundings really make a difference.
They really do. Our environment, it shapes our mood, our behavior.
It's true, yeah.
Keller talks about toxic versus nourishing people.
Oh, I like that.
We've all met them.
Oh, yeah.
Those toxic
The
personalities,
energy vampires.
always negative.
Always complaining.
They drain the energy from, any room they walk into.
It's like they suck the life out of you.
And then you have the nourishing people.
The good ones, yeah.
They radiate positivity. They lift you up
Yeah.
with their words, their actions.
Their energy.
They inspire you to be better.
To be your best self.
The cheerleaders.
The mentors.
The friends who believe in you.
Even when you don't believe in yourself, yeah.
Especially then.
So how do we cultivate more of those relationships?
Good question.
Well, setting some boundaries with the energy vampire.
Right. He says it's about being intentional.
About
Who we let into that inner circle.
your people.
It's not about judging or cutting people off.
Right.
But it is about recognizing our time, our energy. Those are precious resources.
They are, yeah.
Sometimes we got to make tough choices
About.
where we invest those resources.
Because you can't pour from an empty cup.
It might mean spending less time with certain friends, family members.
Even if you've known them forever.
Yeah, even if it's tough. If they bring you down, it might be time to reevaluate.
It's not selfish, it's self-care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about learning to say no. Commitments that drain you. Setting boundaries with people who are just, overly negative or demanding.
Right.
Prioritizing your own well-being.
He also suggests being proactive, right?
Yes. Seek out those positive influences.
So, How do you do that?
Join a group.
That aligns with your
Go
interests.
to a club.
Yeah.
Go to workshops, conferences.
Things that inspire you.
Or just, strike up a conversation.
With someone who seems interesting. Yeah.
Someone who seems like they have that positive energy.
You never know.
You never know where it might lead.
Exactly.
It's about creating an environment that supports you, your growth, your well-being.
I love that.
And that includes being mindful of the people we let in.
Yeah.
Personally, professionally, all of it.
This has been so eye-opening. It's amazing how much power we actually have.
We do.
To shape our own reality.
Just by changing our perspective. Embracing that positive attitude.
It's so simple, but so profound.
Keller's book, it really hits home that, attitude is everything.
It really is.
It's the foundation. And by consciously choosing to cultivate that positivity,
regardless of your circumstances,
it unlocks a world of possibilities.
It really does. If there's one key takeaway, one thing you remember from attitude is everything.
What's that?
It's that we don't have to wait
For
our circumstances to change.
Right.
To be happy.
To be successful.
To feel fulfilled.
It starts within.
It does. It all starts with our mindset.
Absolutely. Embracing the power we have to choose our thoughts, to focus on the good.
To look for the good.
And to approach those challenges.
Yeah.
With optimism, with resilience.
So, to our listeners, what small step can you take today?
Yeah, what can you do?
To shift your attitude in a more positive direction.
Maybe it's replacing a negative thought.
With a positive affirmation,
Reaching out to a friend.
One of those nourishing friends.
One of the good ones.
Yeah.
Or just taking a moment,
Yeah, to appreciate.
To appreciate all the good.
That's around you, yeah.
Because even small shifts, they can have that ripple effect. Creating positive change, that goes way beyond just ourselves.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the power of attitude.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and that you feel inspired to embrace a more positive, empowered approach to life.
Remember, attitude is everything. Choose wisely.